Surrey, and I am going to be doing today's cook along. This is my allotment in Byfleet where I live. As you can see, I've got different things growing, from leeks to runner beans to cabbage, lots of onions, and today we are talking about rhubarb. Rhubarb can be really easy to grow, and it's quite cheap to buy as well. As a bulb, you can plant it in a pot or in the ground. I planted mine in the ground, and as you can see, I've got quite a lot. I've picked 4 lots of this already, so this will be pick number 5. If I show you how to pick rhubarb, it's very easy. The only thing you need to remember is that you can't pick the leaves, because the leaves are poisonous. So you can cut them off and put them into your compost or into your garden. So if I take you and show you how to pick the rhubarb now, it's quite easy. I use these to cut the top off. At the bottom, all you need to do is run your hand down the stalk and give it a slight tug, and it will pop away from the main part of the top. So if you choose some nice big leaves that are growing, you have to get yourself right in there, and it's quite wet. But you're going to put your hand right down, give it a tug, and that's the first piece of rhubarb. I'll tidy the leaves up in a moment, but all you need to do is that. And that's your first piece, and we'll pick a few more. There's different sizes in here. Some a lot larger. As you can see, that one's larger than that one. Chop it off. Make sure there's no little slugs in there, but we'll wash this when we get home. So I'll pick a nice handful, enough for a crumble, or you can even do a crumble, or you can cook it off and have it with natural yogurt or ice cream, and whatever you really like. So, as you can see, it's all different sizes. It's not perfect, but it smells absolutely gorgeous. So I will pick the rest of this now, and I will see you when I get home in my kitchen. See you soon. Hello, we're now back in my kitchen, and I'm in the dry. So the first rule you do, obviously, when you're going to be cooking or doing anything, is wash your hands. Especially as we've been handling the leaves. So I'll give my hands a good wash. 20 seconds normally does it, gets rid of anything. A good hand soap, and then we can prepare the rhubarb. You have to clean the rhubarb of any dirt or any bugs that have gone on it, and then chop a little bit of the end off. You don't need to waste too much. It's just chopping the end to get rid of the little stalk. I'm just going to grab my tea towel. Right, so my hands are washed, and we've got the nice lot of rhubarb here, all different sizes. You just want to warm water, take these bits off, and give it a clean. Now you'll see the little white area. You just want to take a knife, and only need to chop a little bit off, not that much, and that's ready for cooking. So, same again, give it a good scrub, make sure there's no dirt, and just really easy to cut, comes off straight away. Some of the lumps are quite big and long, but the smell is really, really beautiful. Rhubarb's got its own smell. You can make all sorts of rhubarb. Some just cook it off and, as I've said, have it in yogurt or ice cream, or even you can make certain alcoholic drinks with rhubarb. Myself, I did try one, and it was quite potent, so it was really good. And rhubarb's such a lovely flavour. So once I've prepared all this, then we will be cutting it up into thumb-sized segments, ready to be baked. Right, we've now washed the rhubarb sticks off, so we now want to chop them into, I'd say, thumb-sized pieces. Depends, it's roughly around this size, and they will go into, let me just show you, a nice ceramic dish like this, and we will keep cutting them up. You just put them inside the dish. You can chop them roughly, it doesn't matter how or what size. You just need to fill the bottom of your dish with the good pieces, good sizes, so it's even on the base of the dish. I've put my oven on 150. Mine's electric, and it is warming up, ready for the crumble, for the rhubarb, not the crumble, for the rhubarb to be cooked off. Now, some people use caster sugar or normal sugar to cook with the rhubarb, because sometimes rhubarb does have a little bit of bitterness with it, and people put quite a lot of sugar. Myself, I don't like using sugar with it, because you have to use quite a lot. So my mum taught me something, bless her, and she said to me, use excuse me, pure honey. So I gave it a go, and I've never looked back. So all you need to do really is buy yourself a nice pot of honey. If it's really pure fresh stuff, that's great, because we will want to support the local community and people who have the breed the bees and produce honey. So I've now cut them up and filled the dish up, so you'll see there's quite a nice beautiful colour in the dish. So that now is ready for the honey. I've got quite a big bottle of honey because I use it quite a lot. So let me just take the top off and I'll show you how much I need. So that's the rhubarb. You just need to drizzle all over, so it's kind of even, not too much, and a little extra, and that's it. That's all you need honey wise. It bakes really well, and it will also, sorry, I'm dropping my phone. That's it. So you can see it sits on top. It also drizzles all the way through, and that will go a little bit more runny when it's baking in the oven. And what we're doing now is put this in the oven, and then while this is cooking, we can make the crumble, the messy part. Right, we're now going to be making the crumble for the top of the rhubarb crumble. So for this part, you will need a set of weighing scales, large bowl, a smaller bowl for the on top of the weighing scales, some demerara sugar, self-raising flour, and some margarine. First of all, we will start with 250 grams of self-raising flour, which I will measure out now. It doesn't have to be perfectly on the spot, because you can put as much topping really on as you like, but if you keep it around the 250 gram mark, which I normally end up going over, and then you try and take it out, but it's always up there. You go, so you went 62, now I've gone 49. Right, so that's 250 grams of self-raising flour. You take that from this bowl. Let me take it with me. And you just pour it into your larger bowl. And we'll come to that in a minute. Now you want to put in 170 grams of brown sugar. This is actually called demerara sugar. It helps with the top of the crumble to make it quite nice and sweet. So 170 grams. You can probably use the white one as well, which is just normal caster sugar. I tend to keep this more or less spot on because you don't want it to end up too sweet. So that's the sugar, and the sugar can go straight in with the flour and on top. I'm just going to move the phone down for a second, and I use this margarine. It's pretty good, and it comes in a big tub. You want to use the same. Make sure your scales are on 0, and you want 120 grams of the margarine when it comes out. This is what I call as the messy part, because you have to get your hands dirty for this one. Use a knife to get that off there, because again I've used too much, which I'm quite good at doing, is using too much. You only want 120. The rhubarb's smelling really nice. It's in the oven now. It shouldn't take too long, and we will be getting, yeah, right, we've got 120 grams of margarine, so that goes on top of the flour and the sugar. If it comes out of the bowl, I'll show you in a second. Right, that's off. That's all in there, and then it should look kind of like that. So it's all in together. Now the next part is the messy part. You don't need your scales anymore now, so you just move them out of the way. And you get your hands, make sure they're clean, and you just put your hands in and rub it all together, mix it up. It will squish in between your fingers, but it's quite satisfying really. So give it all a really good rub, and you'll see that it will start forming the crumble once it's all mixed together. It will come off your hands quite well. This is why I mean messy. The best way I find is if you rub it between your hands, and it mixes up really well, and it also gets the sticky butter off your hands and your thumb. As you see, it goes everywhere. But something really good to do if you want to help, get your kids to help you do it. They'll love this part, because every kid likes to get messy and get their hands in there, and it's really good to teach them that it's okay to make a mess. Get your hand right in, give it a good mix up, and it should be it's really quick and easy to do. It should be nearly done. I will show you in a second the topping. When the topping's more or less there, because when you take some, if you squeeze it, it will stay in a ball, but then it will crumble and be fine, but it still can go solid. But we want it so it's nice and crumbly to sit on top of our rhubarb. So that's the messy part done. Right, we've now got our topping. As you can see, nice and crumbly, quite loose in the bowl. So just to recap, that is 250 grams of self-raising flour, 170 grams of demerara sugar, and 120 grams of margarine. You can use butter. I prefer margarine because it cooks really well and it browns off really well when we put it in the oven. But there you go, that's that ready, and we now just wait for the rhubarb to cook off, and then we can add this to the top. Right, well, now I've had a little look at the rhubarb and it's ready to come from the oven, so I shall just grab it out of the oven. Oh, that smells gorgeous. Yeah, it's hot. You have to be careful with this part, make sure that you have oven gloves or mitts, but this is the finished part. As you can see, the honey has melted a little bit and some of the flavours come out into the honey from the rhubarb, but the rhubarb now, grab my knife, is quite nice and soft. So that's perfect. That's how it should be when it's cooked. It's nice and soft, the knife goes through it, and it smells absolutely stunning. Really stunning. I'm glad I'm getting to eat this tonight. I'm just going to grab a big spoon. So, big spoon, little spoon. I use a big spoon because we've had a dirty hand now. You get the topping, and all you need to do now is just sprinkle it all across. Let me move my camera down so you can see what I'm doing. And you just sprinkle all the way around and make sure that all the rhubarb is covered and all the juices are covered. I'll go all the way around. I like to have quite a good amount of topping on the top of mine, so I will use all that I've got in the bowl. So we just sprinkle it on, and then whatever's left in the bowl, sprinkle it over, and there we have a yummy rhubarb crumble. Really easy, the top's light and fluffy, and yeah, it's quite easy. I always, when I've done, I'll take one of the small sticks of rhubarb and I'll just chop a length off like that, okay. And then I normally go through the middle and then lay it down, chop it again, so it's kind of like that, 4 bits, 3 bits, and then you can just use it as a little bit of colour, decoration on top. And then when you put that back in the oven, he says, it's going to drop in a bit, it never does as what it's told. You can see a little bit on top. Now what you want to do is put that back into the oven so the top can cook off. So what I'll do is I'll put this back into the oven now. I would keep it on 150 to 160, and that should cook it lovely, and I will leave that in there now for about half an hour, and then you can choose what you really want on top then. So if you want custard, you can make a nice bit of custard, or it will go with cream really well, or my favourite, as you can probably see, my favourite is ice cream. Nice dollop of vanilla ice cream and hot crumble is always a pleaser after a nice dinner. should be ready. I'm just going to get it out of the oven, and oh lovely. It is ready, as you can see. There is one beautiful rhubarb crumble, and it's completely fresh, which is really nice. But not only that, I don't use no pesticides at all in my allotment. It grows as it grows. Yes, the slugs, sometimes I have to go and remove them because they can destroy stuff. And I will now plate some up so you can see how easy it is to serve it. It's really hot at the moment, which is really nice, but it's really easy, depending how much you'd like. Just to scoop out, just like that, onto there. Any remaining, as you can see, there's a nice bit of juice coming from there. And I forgot to get my ice cream out. I don't know which freezer it's in. Just going to grab my ice cream. Oh, there it is, falling out the fridge for me, freezer even. I just use little ice cream that I can't get open. Now open, and I'll get a spoon on the floor. And there, this is soft scoop ice cream. I just put some, this doesn't want to, excuse my finger, I'm going to be eating it, so it doesn't matter. I mean, next to it, you can take a little bit of the rhubarb that we put on top, sit on top of the ice cream, and some of the juices that you see there, I like to dribble all over the ice cream, and there you go. I know it's not fantastically pretty like all these posh restaurants, but it's fresh and it's really tasty, and you probably won't get that flavour anywhere else. Thanks guys.
I'm Zoe Lyons. Sometimes it's easier just to text. Text TALK to 88440. You're not alone.